Hello friends, Ravi Rai again. In today's video, I want to talk about how do you move from written speeches, which is in form of scripts, to not using notes at all. We are comfortable sitting on a desk. Ideas come to us, beautiful ideas, beautiful stories, and our fingers work on those typewriters or the keyboard to come up with a beautiful speech. And there it is, a written speech. So we start our public speaking journey by reading from a script, which also means that instead of focusing on making eye contact, paying attention to how audience is reacting, giving us the opportunity to change our speech halfway through the process, those things go away when you have that speech in front of you, the written speech. The script can also become a crutch. What I will say is that sometimes the speeches, when read, are going to prevent you from being that natural speaker, like what I'm doing today. So how do you go from written speeches to no notes at all? There are transitions. So here is my recommendation. Step number one is, it's okay to write your speech, but after you have written, see if you can make it in bullet points. So that's a transition. When you see a bullet points, see if you can remember your speech, or you can say something about that bullet point. When you have lots of bullet points, bring it down to one card size. So maybe 4 or 5 bullet points. If there are statistics, definitely you want to have a written item. And it's okay to lift your card and read it from the statistics. Even having props is going to help you instead of writing your bullet points. So what I would recommend is start by that. Written speeches, you cannot write the whole speech into a PowerPoint, for example. You have to itemize them, put some pictures. So that is a good transition. Once you have done that, once you have created visual, you'll begin to notice is that you cannot hold on to your script and look at the visual or the PowerPoint or the aid. So slowly you'll begin to have that confidence of getting rid of the written speech and going towards just bullet points. And finally, what I would say is that just before the presentation, go through your bullet points. Now here is what I like to do. There is that speech that is in my head, or the presentation that I have thought about giving to the audience. Then there is a presentation I actually give. And guess what? After the presentation, I wish I had given the presentation that was really in my head. So there are different kinds. But what is the most important part in all these presentations? To me, the most important part is all this presentation is what your audience takes it from you, from what you have presented. So let's take a step back. Think about what your audience wants to get from your speech. And that's where you will focus more on your audience and less on your speech. Remember, there can be information overload or a dump of lot of information that will be too much for the audience. It's better to have the audience just take one or two message from your presentation or your speech than have you try to focus on giving everything. So that's where the formula of 3x3 comes into picture. One message, opening, 3 points in the body, and then the conclusion, which is your message. And that message is tying back to the body, and the body is tying back to the opening. So when you focus on this structure, delivery, your audience that is going to get your message, you'll think less about writing a speech or your written speech. There are places where you can go and practice. Even you can use an AI tool to practice your speech and see what the AI tool lets you do. And when you're practicing, get rid of the notes, just look straight into the camera and see how you can use your body gestures, your eye contact, Or best of all, you can use your facial expressions when you're looking at the camera. So all these items is going to help you focus more on the delivery, presentation, your audience, and less on reading from a script. Remember, the sooner we can get off the crutch of script, the better you become as a speaker. The confidence that you'll get is going to be wonderful. I do want to share one story. I was competing in a speech contest. I had a well-written speech and I had memorized it. I was going to do really well. Somewhere in the speech, I forgot the segments that was going to come next. I took a deep breath. My pause became a purposeful pause. And then I continued with what my heart was going to say. I did recover and I was able to flow into that next segment. All that happened because I practiced getting off of the script. So now what I do is, when I want to give a presentation, I write bullet points. I mull over them, think what is important. Maybe there are 10 bullet points and I select the top 3 and then decide how I want to present. Sometimes I will have a PowerPoint. Sometimes I'll have a prop. Sometimes I will have some song and dance. Well, what I mean to say is that some activity where I can interact with the audience, have a role play, and all those things make your presentation a wonderful presentation for the audience. So, I would encourage you to take your written script, transform it into bullet points, come up with visual aids, come up with ways to present it from the audience point of view, and soon you will have a wonderful presentation that is not going to be written reading from a script. Hope this video helps you in getting some ideas and getting started on getting rid of the scripts towards a presentation that comes from your heart. Have a wonderful speech giving next time. Until then, thank you for watching Speaking Tips with Ravi. Bye now.